Okay, in today's video, we're going to show you how to adjust the X gib and the Y gib. We're going to start out by showing you the Y-axis casting that we're all familiar with. Here's where the X gib sits, and here is where the Y gib sits. Now we're going to take this opportunity to show you that just in the last couple of months we have upgraded to, instead of a casting, we have gone to an extrusion. A long piece of aluminum, and we chop it up and then machine it. Better aluminum, and then we hard anodize it. So we're going to be using this one from now on. They're basically the same. They are going to be adjusted the same, but there are some differences. I could point them out right now. This is all one piece and it's all machined. It has the dovetails machined right into the casting. Here, I have one already assembled. We have dovetail plates. We have these plates. And this one on this end is pinned so that it is square. The X is square with the Y, and that has to be 1/2 thousandth or less. So generally, our machines, they may be out 1,000th per foot. It's pretty darn close, pretty darn close. So that's why we have these pinned here. And these are ground in pairs. I think Jesse does maybe 20 at a time, 20 pairs at a time. And we have to keep them all together and so forth. So they're all done in pairs. The reason we've done this is we just get a better feel for the whole machine. It just works better, looks better, but it definitely works better. And this top dovetail plate here is movable a little bit. And what that allows us to do is use the same size gib for all, and we get to move it back so we have lots of adjustment. And then when we put our table in for initial lapping, we push this up and then tighten it down. And then pretty much it stays there from that moment on. It's just tightened down. Then we can adjust the gib and get the proper feel. Now down here, we're going to start off. And this is very important. Here we have our Y gib. It has a slit in it, and this is so for those folks that have manual machines, when you turn the screw down to lock it, it has a spring effect, and it causes it to not move. We don't really use this in CNC operations. So let's just say you took it apart and you cleaned your machine. Everything is nice and clean and it's all dried out. We're going to put the gib in. We'll go back and forth just to make sure that there's nothing there. Feels nice and smooth. And then we'll put on the retainer plate. It has 3 1032 by 5/8 screws. Now here's the important thing. Keep this nice and loose, keep this up. I'm going to use a small wrench here, but this is very important. When we tighten these, when you tighten these, make sure you only tighten them by using the short end of the wrench, hand tight. Just like so, hand tight. Hand tight, that's it. And the reason for this is, if you got it any tighter than that, for instance, if you put the wrench in this way and you tightened each one of them down, it won't move. You won't be able to get it to adjust using these outboard adjusting screws. So, hand tight. I cannot stress this enough. You just, with the short end, hand tight. And that'll be fine. It won't go anywhere. It'll be fine. The X gib, of course, goes in small end towards your right, if you're looking at the big plate, you can see our wear pattern right here. It's beautiful. Just like so. Everything's good to go and we're ready to put it together. And let's go over to the machine and we'll show you how it's all done. All right. Now the first thing we're going to have to do, if we're going to do a good job, we have to take the screws out. So we've covered that in other videos. So I've already taken the screws out. And now we're going to slide off the X table. You're going to need three things basically to adjust the Gibs. You need a dead blow hammer, a 3/8 wrench, open end or box, and a 5/32 hex wrench. That's pretty loose right there. So here's our primary adjustment. We'll take it down until it stops. Just like that. We're not forcing it, but it's a pretty good drag in there. There, there it is. That's nice and solid. We'll give it a tap. There we go. That feels pretty good. It's got a good drag. We don't want too much of a drag, but it's got a good drag. Couple of fingers. And we're going to tighten up our lock nuts. These don't have to be all that tight, just so that the lock washers compress. There we go. There's more harm done on these machines by wrenching everything down as tight as you can get. It's not really necessary. That feels pretty good. Now here is the most important thing. Here's how we know how good our adjustment is. We're going to back this up until 2/3 of it. 2/3 of it is beyond the waist. And wiggle it back and forth. Very little play there. 2/3 of it this way. Very little, but there is some. You could feel it wiggle just a little bit. And we'll go down just a touch. That feels really good. That feels really good. Now, we still have adjustment on this, and this is how we're going to really zero in on it. We put the table back in. About midway where we have some, now we have some leverage. Now let's go past 2/3 again. Now see, we've got some wiggle there. Let's come down a little bit. Oh, that's very good. But it got a little stiff. This is what the hammer's for. Oh, that feels very good there. Let's try this side now. We got some wiggle. We got some wiggle there. That's better. Just a little stiff. And you got to go back and forth. Back and forth. Oh, that feels great. That feels great. Excellent. No wiggle. No wiggle. Very nice. If you want, you can make sure that these are a little pretty snug. Well, that feels great. Now, let's adjust the X. Here's how we do that. We put it all together, and let's back this up about halfway off. Now you'll notice right here, here's where the X cable is, the side, and here is the side of the Gib, right there. Let me take this off so you can see it again. Here's the plate, here's the plate. Now if you put your finger on the table and on the plate at the same time, right there, put it right there, you'll be able to feel it wiggle. You'll be able to feel some play in there. You can go on the other side, go halfway down. Got some play in there. Let's adjust our Gib down. We'll back this one over. We want to make it tighter, so we want the Gib to go that way. Let's tighten it up. Notice it moved down a little bit right there. Getting better. Getting better. Let's go down a little more. Let's back this one up. A half a turn. And a half a turn there. Oh, that's starting to feel real good. About halfway, and you have your finger, and you'll be able to feel it. Just like that. Very good. That's a good feel right there. That's beautiful.